In this video, I'm going to show you how to change all references of the word brands to something else. So sometimes people want to use author or artist instead of brands. Maybe you sell books and brand doesn't really mean anything, but you want to be able to use the author instead so that people can click on what's normally the brand and instead go to a list of that author's works. Or maybe you sell artwork or photography and you want to use the brands for the artist or the photographer. There's lots of different ways to utilize that brands field and be able to build out those brand pages so that you can have these sort of alternate collections. So to do this, we're going to need to edit our theme files. Depending on whether, if you're an enterprise or a multi-storefront, you're going to access your themes through the channel manager. Otherwise, you would find it under storefront. You would see themes listed here and you would click on that. So we're going to go ahead and go to our themes area. Click on themes on the left. And then if you haven't already made a copy of your base theme, you can see here's my base theme below. I've made a copy, which I've called Cornerstone Custom. You do have to make a copy first before you can actually edit it. So if you're using any sort of customized theme, you already have a copy, but if not, you'll need to create a copy first. Once you've created that copy, you can then click Advanced, Edit Theme Files. And this process is going to be the same for pretty much any theme, because all we're going to do is we're just going to edit what's called the language file. So you'll see over here on the left, there's a folder called lang. We're going to open that up. Each one of these files corresponds with a different language that the theme might be translated into. So if you're English speaking, you're going to go ahead and click on the en.json. That's for English. And then in here, you'll see basically this is the text for all the different variables that are used in the theme. So you'll find titles in here, you'll find phrases, all sorts of language variables in here. So all we're going to do is something very simple. We're going to do a find for any place that the word brand or brands appears, and then we're going to change it to whatever we want to use instead. So in my example, I'm going to say that I'm selling books and I want to change brand to author. So however you would do a find, whether it's Control F or Apple F, whatever you might use to do a find, you're going to click that on your keyboard and then you'll get this search box. And then we're just going to type in brand. And we'll see here already, here's our first instance of brands. So instead of it saying there are no products listed under this brand, we're going to change this to there are no products listed for this author. And then we're going to come up here and go to the next instance of brand. Here we go, brand label is brands. So we're going to change that to authors and then view all authors. We're going to keep doing this all down the page. Brands here becomes authors. Instead of popular brands, we're going to change this to popular authors. This is the heading that appears in the popular brands column in the footer. And again, we're just going to keep going through. Okay, so now we're back to the beginning. So we can see there are no products listed for this author. I already updated that one. So I'm just going to click through, make sure I got all of them. And I did. So now I can go ahead and save this. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the URL for the brands page is still going to say brands. There isn't any way to change that, but everything else would say brands instead of, we'll say authors instead of brands. So you can see here, when I go here, this says authors. The breadcrumb, I don't know if there's any way to change that. You might want to just delete that from the theme files, but you can see here, this is now changed to authors. Down here, we have popular authors. So we've successfully made that change. If you did want to delete this breadcrumb here, because it's not very useful anyway, you could come into your theme files, and then you're going to go into templates, pages, brands.html. This is the code for your brands page, not brand. This would be the template for an individual brand. So we want the all brands page, which is brands.html. And then we can see up here at the top, here's the code for the breadcrumbs, and we can just highlight that and delete it. and then just go ahead and save and apply that file. Once that's saved, if we reload, now that breadcrumb is gone, and now this looks like a page that's dedicated to authors. So that's how you can go ahead and change brands to something else like authors or artist or artisan or painter or photographer, whatever might be appropriate for your store. It's pretty simple change in the language file of your stencil theme. If you found this video useful, please like it, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and of course, please subscribe to my channel so you can get helpful videos like this in the future.